Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Peer Researchers Workshop for 2021. My name is Khalid Mosalam. I am the Peer Director and also a Professor of Structural Engineering at UC Berkeley. So these are some general remarks. We hope that this would be an in-person after last year online, but given the current state of affairs, we're still holding this one online. We are hopeful that the next one for 2022, we will be able to meet in person. And we also have some plans for the peer annual meeting later in the earlier part of 2022, that it can be held in person. So we will see how's that gonna go. So just to give you a few points about what's going on in peer. So our remote work have been ongoing. We have had successful several workshops that they were held online. This year of the researchers workshop, we're going to have the usual TSRP projects reports, also some of the peer bridge projects that started. So we're going to have some reports on those. There will be a dedicated session for the peer bridge projects. Some new things we're going to have is this year we're going to give you an overview of the peer standing committees, which are the institutional board, the industry advisory board, the research committee, and the resource identification committee, and a newly formed yet very active committee of peer students committee. Also an ad hoc committee on open seas. We will hear a report about what is going on in these committees, mainly by the chairs of the committees. At the end of the second day, we're also going to hear summary reports on two workshops we recently had, the Peer DOE workshop and the Pacific Rim Forum, where both of them have been concluded successfully. One important news item, you should stay tuned for next month. We're going to have our usual TSRP request for proposal for new projects in 2022. So the goals of this workshop, as before, is to report on the status and updates of ongoing projects. We hope that this will increase cross-collaboration and benefit from different developments in these projects, and also creating synergy amongst researchers for future collaboration, especially for the upcoming request for proposal of next month. We always try to hold this workshop a month in advance, so researchers can start thinking about what they would like to propose next month. One additional goal this year is to inform the peer researchers about what's going on in peer, particularly of the different committees' activities, as I mentioned, which will be reported today and tomorrow, very briefly by the chairs of these committees. Just to remind you of where peer currently gets its major funding, our biggest is the Transportation System Research Program, which is funded by the state of California. This is fully controlled by peer, and we put out this funding through the request for proposal process. The PIs of these projects can be anyone from the 11 core institutes, any faculty member from the 11 core institutes of peer. We also have the relatively new program, the Peer Bridge program, which is funded by Caltrans, and this is administered by peer. The selection of the projects is done by Caltrans based on peer's recommendation, but the PIs of peer bridge projects can only be from the 8 public peer institutes. Other sources of funding from CEA, like the recently concluded project from California Earthquake Authority, or from the CEC, California Energy Commission. Right after my introductory remarks, we will hear from John Bray, who's leading the CEC project, and also other projects from NSF or NRC, DOE, DOT, and so on. These projects typically have a selection process which is administered by the funding agency, and typically there is a team in place who put the project forward, and peer can support that, and it goes through the usual review process depending on which agency the project is submitted to or the proposal is submitted to. So in terms of how peer manages its TSRP fund, we receive the funds from the state of California, and we make use of this fund to produce a variety of products. So this is done by putting out requests for proposals, which could be responded to by any faculty from the 11 peer institutes. We administer a review process, and based on that, in the past 4 years, we have funded 54 projects. Several of them have been completed and several are ongoing, and we are going to hear from the PIs or their collaborators about their progress. The products that come out of these projects are in the form of peer technical reports or software, peer annual meeting or workshop presentations, and also several blind predictions or challenges that we have held in the past few years. This year, in the last RFP, which was 20-02, we funded 12 projects that had 17 PIs and co-PIs, or PIs and collaborators. You see the photos of all the PIs here and the topics. They span all the covered area in peer, from geohazard to structure response to performance-based engineering and so on. And also they cover almost all the peer institutes in terms of the faculty who come from these different institutes. As for the Peer Bridge program, it has a different workflow. So typically Caltrans come up with some problem statement in one of these 7 topics on bridge sustainability and maintenance, new materials, bridge modeling and analysis, or accelerated bridge construction, performance-based earthquake engineering and bridge reliability, or bridge foundations and retaining walls, and finally intelligent design tools and bridge design aids. So the problem statements, once finalized, then peer go through again a process of request for proposal, now limited only to the 8 peer public institutes, and then funding based on a review process is granted. So far we have 4 multi-year projects that were approved in the past year, and they are ongoing. And as I mentioned, we're going to hear more about that in a dedicated session. Sharon Yin, who is the moderator of this session, she's the manager of these projects on Caltrans side. So we're going to hear more about that. So as I mentioned, we have 4 ongoing projects under the Peer Bridge program. One from UC Davis, one from Irvine, one from Berkeley, and one from Oregon State. So we're going to have presentations about these. We expect a new project to start very soon, hopefully in September 1st, that focused on liquefaction-induced ground settlement procedure. So that should start hopefully in September 1st. So the program of the today and tomorrow, each day we have 4 sessions. Today we're going to have networks, peer bridge projects, structure focused on bridges, and also geohazard. And I put an arrow here next to the part where there is going to be peer committee overview. Today we're going to have 3 of these short presentations. And tomorrow we're going to have also 4 sessions continuing in geohazards and then going to other hazards and systems, and then a session dedicated to modeling. And finally, we're going to have another 3 reports from the remaining 3 committees. And then we're going to conclude this 2-day workshop with a summary of the 2 workshops we had in the past year of the Peer DOE workshop and also the Pacific Rim Forum. So we're going to have a short summary of each of these 2 workshops. So before I forget, I would like to thank Amarnath and his team from peer staff, especially Erica, Christina, and Gabriel. They have been doing a lot of work behind the scene, organizing this online workshop and making sure speakers are informed with what they need to know. So many thanks to them for doing a great job, as we will see in the coming 2 days. So with that, I wish all of you a productive workshop, and I'm looking forward to a lively discussion about what will be presented. Thank you.